Moving to chase my dream was one of the scariest things I've ever done in my entire life. And mind you, this is coming from somebody who's moved a lot, probably over 30 times in my adult life alone. But what made moving for my dream as scary? Every time I moved beforehand, it was calculated. On the outside, it may have seemed like it was this huge step of faith, but in reality, I had something secure waiting for me on the other side. This was one of the few times that I really had to put my money where my mouth is and truly trust God with every next step. Like we all know, he doesn't show you the whole staircase. He just shows you one step at a time. And that is frightening. I was living in Florida and I was so content. I had my dream police job. I was working at a great police department and I truly enjoyed what I got to do. However, I've always had this burning desire to do something creative and work in the music industry, country music to be specific. Where do you go for that? Nashville. As you can tell by the background, I did make the move, but on the outside, it can look like I just packed up, went for it. But if I'm being honest, it wasn't that simple. It was very, very scary, and it took a lot in me to actually do it. Actually, when I first moved to town, I didn't even bring all of my stuff. I brought half the things because technically, if I'm halfway there and it fails, I didn't technically move. It wasn't until a few months later that I said, all right, no, I'm all in. And I went back and got the rest of my stuff. I share all this with you to say your dreams are the scariest thing to chase. That step that you're taking, that move, whether more metaphorically or physically, it's the scariest thing that you could ever do. And I don't know how any of this is going to turn out. And I want to keep sharing this on YouTube to share my story because I feel like it's not talked about enough how scary it can truly be to chase your dream. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. That was one of the biggest factors for me when I decided to make that move, to take that step. Is when I look back on my life 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, am I going to wish I stayed comfortable or am I going to wish that I did everything I could to turn those dreams into a reality? And I know there's somebody out there watching that resonates with this because I needed to hear this. Every time I watched a video, somebody just packed up and did this. And sure, they shared some stories of some lows where they slept in a car, or they were broke, but a lot of times they don't go in depth as to truly how scary that is to just after you're an adult, after you already have a successful career, to feel like, hey, there's something missing. And I feel like this is the direction God wants me to go in, and I'm going to give it my all. I even struggled with it. God had called me to do that because it was fun. I actually had a mentor challenge me and say, why do you think God's calling over your life can't be fun? That was one of the biggest truths I had ever heard. I had this preconceived notion that like just because I was chasing God's calling that it was supposed to involve some level of like I don't like this. And there's truly things about what I get to do now that I don't love and I don't enjoy. But overall, I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. So this message is for anyone who's on that fence, whether it's chasing something creatively, a new business venture, whatever that thing is that you're too scared to pray and you may be praying too small for. Take that first step, that little step, whether it's that first social media post, whether it's reaching out to that one person you've been wanting to reach out on, or maybe it's something as simple as dedicating 10 to 15 minutes to write down and brainstorm what you think that next step should be. I want to keep documenting my journey because I don't know where it's going and I want to take you along for the ride. So if you would subscribe to my channel, it would mean the world to me. Also, if there's anything else I could do to help, let me know in the comments. If there's a specific question, let me know in the comments. I want this to be a community where we just all help support each other, build our dreams, and run after what God has called us to do.